My question is, because obviously Evan and I no jobs yet. He's still in school.
Right.
I'm doing other stuff. But what is it like interviewing for one of these jobs where you're like going up to like a well-known network where you're writing every day, or the NBA, or you're working for an NFL organization? What is one of these interviews like? Is it daunting at all?
I think we should answer separately because we both had daunting interviews, but so different.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can start, and
Because,
then
yeah,
you
please
should
do.
definitely talk about the interview you had with ESPN and that like crazy
Oh, I
how
will
they
talk about that.
yeah
That was a crazy interview.
But I'll start. So I'll talk about my interview for the Bucks. So they flew me down to Tampa. It was a 2-day interview with four other people, all men, of course. And then they told us in the morning. They had us flying at night, stay in this hotel, and they said, you're going to meet up in the morning, we'll pick you up. So we get to the lobby, and we look at each other, and we think, well, I guess this is our competition. So, nice to meet you. And you instantly, like, size each other up in that way. And then, so we got picked up. We go to the Bucks facility, and we go into the draft room. We're assigned multiple assignments within those 2 days that we have to complete. One of them was a position group ranking, and it was during mini camp, so we were able to actually look at guys in person and analyze them and evaluate them. We were to present those rankings to the whole scouting department, including the GM, at the end of those 2 days. We also were assigned 2 reports and a point of attack tape, which I had never done before. They just explained it to me, and then we had to write 2 reports in the format that the Bucks write in, which I had also never, because all teams do it differently.
Yeah.
And also, they had like a really interesting mentality they wanted you to take on while you were there. They said, we want you to work as a team, but also compete. Because what they did is they had us in different position groups. So if I knew something more about a wide receiver, like I could talk to the other person about it and kind of like help them out if I wanted to. And then at the same time, they wanted us to all go and leave as a group. So you had to kind of check on each other, like how far along are you with your work? Which is weird when you're competing. So it's very like interesting dynamic, and it kind of like is an interesting way to like psychologically affect you during your interview process.
That sounds a little hostile, honestly.
It was wild. I mean, but that's like the environment you're in. It's this high intensity.
Yeah.
Like even though you're on a team with someone you work with, you're honestly competing always for that next spot.
To move up within
exactly,
the team. Yeah,
right.
No, absolutely.
And that's kind of, I think, what they wanted to have play out in this like microcosm of those 2 days.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. Sarah, did you want to touch on your
Yeah,
experience?
I'll go. So I'll do like the ESPN one and the NBA one. So when I was in college, I had an ESPN interview, and I was only a freshman, so I was very like unprepared, but I was still like excited about it. And I get to the interview, and he goes, "What would you rank your like 3, like what would you rank your like strongest sport that you know the most about to like the least?" I'm like, okay. So I'm like NBA, then I went college basketball, then football, then baseball or golf. And he goes, okay, so right after I answer the question, or I said baseball, right after I answer the question, he starts asking me, like, every baseball statistical question you could think of, because I said that was my least knowledgeable. So it's like a mind game, and then he just, like, went off, like, what is this pitcher's ERA? What's this? And it's like, in 1992, like, who won this award? And I, like, just clueless. I was a freshman. And it really just showed me, like, and I remember I talked to Anish Shroff, who's a very well-known guy on ESPN, and he gave me advice one day. He was like, everyone, when they do sports, they think of, like, if I know the NBA and if I know NHL and NFL, I'll be fine. But he's like, if you want to work for ESPN, you have to know golf, you have to know lacrosse, you have to know all these little like niche sports. And I think not a lot of people think about that. Like you ask the average person for like lacrosse stats or golf stats, like they're not really going to know. And so he told me like that's kind of how you can differentiate yourself when you want to work for an organization like that. So since that interview, I obviously like brushed up on my knowledge. I knew what I had to do. And there's even a test that they gave me, an aptitude test. It was about a half an hour, and it could range from like simple questions to like point to where the 3-point line is in the court, and then like who won the NBA MVP award in like 1980 something. So you can take some aptitude tests, and they watch you, so you can't like search anything, and it's timed. And then at the NBA, they ask you, like, some questions to get a general sense of your knowledge, like, what were the teams Shaq played for, like, things like that. And then they'll ask you, like, kind of strategy questions, like, if you could make your own ideal team of 5, who would you pick, and then give your reasons, like, why, and try to get in your head about it. So, but the ESPN was definitely the most intense, because they're obviously picking your weakness and then immediately harshing on it. So that really was, like, a wake-up call for me, honestly.
What was your team of 5?
I don't remember. This was literally so long ago. But I remember being so nervous.
If you were gonna make one right now, what would your team of 5 be?
No, that's too hard. I can't do it on the spot.
You can't. Yeah, you can't do that on the spot.
Yeah, but it's like you already know like at least 2 or like 3.
Okay.
Like you already know like
Yeah.
probably Kobe, LeBron, and Michael are gonna be on that team.
No, they wouldn't.
LeBron and Michael wouldn't be on the team?
No.
On your team of 5 for
No.
all-time
It's
NBA.
our starting 5. It's
So-
not
It's my
like
starting. It's not
yeah.
Evan's starting 5.
it's not right. Yeah.
I
It's
was
not
assuming.
Evans.
I was assuming.
Can we, so let's hear yours first, and I'll go with mine since you have this crazy idea in your head of who yours.
Oh, it's this
I
crazy.
want to hear the
Wow,
crazy.
she came at you.
No.
I want to hear it.
Guys,
What's your
before he
starting
came
5?
on, Carly was like, "You and Evan are gonna fight," so I'm being a little like I'm pugnacious right now.
Why'd you think we were gonna fight?
Evan's
Bizarre.
feisty, but
I didn't say. Well,
Like funny, like
funny
debating.
fight.
Oh. Oh, okay.
She likes to be fresh.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're not gonna actually sit here and fight, but
Okay.
Take that outside.
no dropping.
That's a.
gloves.
By the way, before I do say my starting 5, that's a crazy like interview thing.
what?
Oh,
Like you're, the ESPN,
ESPN
like
Oh,
that-
wasn't that
that's
so
a, that's yeah,
wild?
that's a crazy
Style.
He
dynamic.
was like, "Oh, that's your weakness," blah blah. And I'm like, "Oh my god!" I like cried. I was like gonna cry. I like, muted it and was tearing up. Like, did not get that. Okay, anyway.
So I think I want to do point guard last.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Because Evan's
That's
team.
not how you. Okay.
Yeah.
You build a team around the point guard. What does Evan do? I want it last.
Evan's team.
I do. That's why, because it's so important. I want to think
Alright,
about it a
alright.
little longer.
Okay, sure. Sure.
So my shooting guard's gonna be Michael. My small forward's gonna be LeBron. My power forward's Kevin Durant. My center is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
Wow.
and or Wilt Chamberlain, but probably Kareem. And then my point guard.
I guarantee he goes Rondo.
No, it can't- that's such.
That's his favorite
Yeah,
player.
no, I do love Rondo, but it can't be Rondo. It would probably have to be. This is so hard.
It's so hard. That's why I said you can't put me in the spot. 'cause
Point
it's like,
guard's the one that I struggle with the most because I can never like definitively decide
Yeah.
who I want.
That's so
at
true.
point guard.
It's so hard to know who to build your franchise around.
Do you agree with that? Point guard would be the hardest to like.
Yeah, because people always ask me in debates like, "Oh, who would you build a franchise?" And they give me like the top 5 point guards, and I'm like, I don't. It's just depends on other pieces.
I'm gonna go with Allen Iverson as my
Wait,
point
that's
guard.
what I was gonna choose.
I was actually about to say that as well. I'm gonna say you should go
Wait, that's what
Allen
I was gonna
Iverson.
choose.
Yeah,
What is this? You can't agree. You're not.
He's
I
saying
know,
insane.
this is weird.
I mean, I love Allen Iverson. He's awesome.
Would you pick? You wouldn't even consider Steve Nash if you could pick anybody.
Steve Nash is definitely in the
That's
conversation.
what I was because I was thinking about that.
He's
But,
totally in the
You
conversation.
can have one alternate of your 5. We should allow that. Like an alternate.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a 5
like
and
a
an
sub,
alternate.
like a little
An alternate.
I'd put Kobe deserves to be on the team.
You think?
Kobe.
I
deserves-
absolutely
You
do.
didn't choose him.
I
huh?
Hot take,
Kobe.
Ev.
Yeah, but like I needed Michael and LeBron
You
at the 2 and
needed
3.
them?
100. I needed them. Yeah.
Actually, let me think of who I would change on your team because I feel like you have a very solid team. I feel like I actually like your team a lot. If we were picking like current NBA players, I'd go with Dame, obviously, to start. Obviously.
I'd probably put Dame at point guard too. Dame
Really?
or like Kyrie.
Dame is better than Kyrie.
I think
Dame's
so, too.
better than Kyrie.
I think so too. They're both Kyrie's better ball
ball
handler.
handling by
Dame's
far.
way.
Oh yeah, for
Dame's
sure.
way better shooter.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's just that you didn't put Kobe in there, and I would want to put Kobe.
No, I
in
would.
there.
I wanted.
I would
to
put Kobe at point guard
You
because he
would.
could play point guard.
Yeah, you could.
Like he literally brought the
So
second
can
half
LeBron
of,
though.
But no, absolutely. But the second half of Kobe's career, that's basically what he did.
Yeah.
They didn't get a point guard after Steve
Kevin
Nash.
Durant's my point guard.
They just-
I was thinking about like when you said center, I was thinking about Anthony Davis, but I was thinking about like current players and who I would want, or Jokic. I'd want Jokic on my team.
All time.
Jokic
He's
is
just
a
too
beast.
valuable.
I mean, yeah,
He
his
can do everything.
his
Like, why would I
facili-
not want him?
his facilitating skills are
Yeah,
unheard of.
That's what I'm saying.
You know?
So that's the only people I'd change. But I actually I think you built such a great team, Evan.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
Who's
it.
yours?
I said who I would change, but like I
Okay.
like I kind of stick to a lot of the people. Like everyone has like their classics, like a LeBron or Kobe or MJ. But then you have like the ones you would alternate between. Like shooting
Definitely.
guard is tough.
What do you think of my Durant pick?
You said Durant.
He's my power
Yeah.
forward.
Oh, I didn't.
That's a great pick.
I think Kevin Durant is the best scorer of all time.
I was
agree
gonna
with
say I
that.
actually agree with that, but I don't know if I'd choose him just because my bias against him.
It's fair.
That's very funny.
That's fair.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You know the whole deal. Check out our latest episode here if you want. And please consider subscribing on Patreon. It helps us out a lot. Thanks, guys.